Jerome just said, and that is, it's about involving everyone. There's not a single sector of your community that we do not want to hear their voice. And it's about involving everyone, identifying what matters most, and playing the long game. And any of you that have been successful in your careers or in your leadership roles know that it didn't happen overnight. For example, with with economic development, when an industry locates, I always ask the local person, how long have you been working on this? And it's usually at least 2 years. A lot of times it's 5, and I've even heard 10 years. So, but before you can market your community through economic development, which that's what economic development is, it's marketing your people and your product, your workforce and your assets and your infrastructure. Before you can do that, you have to back up and build out that infrastructure, build that product, develop those people, the workforce, and that's what community development is about. It's getting ready, it's building out the infrastructure, enhancing the quality of life for those that are here, which in turn is a recruitment tool. And then before you can do community development, who wants to take a guess at what you have to do before that? I'm very patient.
Get everybody on board.
Get everybody on board, and a generic term for that would be leadership. You have to develop leadership that understands the value of diversity, the value of people who think differently, because that enhances our outcomes. I work with Georgia EMC, as I said, and my job is manager of community development. And we are actually in the process of changing our title from community development to community and leadership development, because they go hand in hand. And so I like to say community heart and soul is comp planning on steroids. And it's comp planning on steroids because it's taking leadership and empowering them with what the community wants. And we all want the same thing at the end of the day. We want a vibrant community. We want a community where our children's children would want to live. We want a community where everybody that lives there has an opportunity to succeed and be independent and thrive and enhance the community. So I am passionate about Heart and Soul because it does all of that. Not only is it leadership development and community development, but at the end of the day, if we do this right, and it is we, I'm not here doing this for you. I'm here guiding you as you do it for yourself. And so at the end of the day, if we do it right, Stephanie has a lot more to market. She has a lot more to market to the world. And voices are heard and talents shine that we didn't know we had in our community. So with that, I want to introduce our presenter today, Jim Manning. Most of you saw Jim the last time he was here. Jim, you can start coming on up. Jim is a coach like myself. In fact, we went through the 2-year coaching process to become Orton certified in Community Heart and Soul Coaching. And that's the foundation that funds the program. And Jim lives in South Carolina, so he's a Southern gentleman also. And but he has another responsibility in addition to coaching, and that's helping us get the word out, spreading the word about Community Heart and Soul. And he's here today to do what is called Getting Started programs, a workshop Getting Started. And then after this workshop, Jim will be here in spirit and in support if we need him, but he'll move on to other communities to try to get them ready for Heart and Soul. And the fact that y'all been meeting regularly through these economic development meetings is kind of what helps you to be ready. You don't get to decide to do Heart and Soul, you have to be ready to do Heart and Soul. And so I want to commend you for making that progress already. So Jim will give you a little bit more about his background. He has served on city council, so he has thick skin and can take just about anything, right? So with that, let's give Jim a warm welcome.
Okay, so it happens all the time. I'm always in a state of confusion. I'm glad to be in the state of Georgia today, but I'm also in a state of confusion. Were you wanting to do public?
Yeah, you will.
Please.
I wanted to just take a minute, because I know we have a few people that are leaving a little early. So I wanted to do a little thing with you that we started in March of last year. How many of y'all remember the puzzle pieces and have done this with me? Okay, so I need everybody who has not done this to raise your hand. Jamie's gonna bring you one. Hands up. Until you get one. I think you ain't done this yet, John. Yeah, some over there, you got Mr. Manning and Sonia and about 4 more, I think. Okay, while she gives these out, I'm gonna tell you what this is about. Puzzle pieces are close to my heart for a few reasons. One, it's about teamwork, and that's what this is about. And I also have a daughter who's autistic, so I'm real close to puzzle pieces. And I refer to life in metaphors a lot of times, and I've always said to my children that life's like a puzzle. And while we come into this world without any puzzle pieces, we get these by the lessons we learn in life. So the goal is by the time we reach the end of our life, we've got enough pieces to create the picture that we can look back on. And that's how we get that wisdom that we're seeking as we get older. Now, when we started this last year, this was referred to the reasons why. Every day we get up and we rise, we get ready for work, but there's a reason that we do this. And that's what just evokes something in us, is a passion of something that we do, something that we're great at, and we bring to the table every day. And those of y'all who've been with me, y'all have heard me say this again, over and over. But there is something in us, and for me it's passion, and I think everybody who's room knows me knows that I'm really energetic because I am passionate about what I do. But everybody has that reason why. And that is what leads us. That is our vision. That's what creates our vision. So I want you to take a minute, and I want you to write that one word. Think of one word, whether it's passion or your out-of-the-box thinker, your analytical, your whatever that word is. I want you to write that word on one side of that puzzle piece right now. And on the other side, when you do, I want you to write your name. And we'll circle back around this in a little bit. Jermaine, come on up. When you get done, just raise your hand and Jane will come by and get it.
Good morning. Y'all might remember me. I was here 5 minutes ago. So you're going to have to be really, really ready for me today because James had me sleep like a baby last night, and Stephanie saw that I was well fed, and so I am raring to go. Now, first of all, I am a traveling salesman, I do sales, and I travel a lot, and I've been so excited to spend some time in your county, and as Jenny said, after today, you will be through the community heart and soul, getting started, getting ready process. And that's where you'll be to the next part, which will be going from here to having scheduled a phase 1 training, and off you're going. So, My work is done after today. But my work today is having you all work. So be prepared. You're going to be working today. Last time I did a little PowerPoint, and you could sleep, or you could do stuff on your iPhone, play solitaire. Not today. Today's a work day. So I hold that off until the day I'm leaving town, so that when you get mad at me for making you work, I'll be out of town. I am from South Carolina, so let me answer the obvious questions first. No, I never went out on a boat with anybody from the Murdaugh family. And I think the fact that I'm standing here talking to you proves I've never been out hunting with anybody from the Murdaugh family. And the last thing that I will answer is, yes, I'm guessing you watched a little bit more of that trial than I did. Now, that being said, I think that I'm standing in the finest county in America right now with one exception, and that is my wife has had to take on about half the year full-day caretaking of her father. Well, we were hoping that at this stage of life she would travel to wonderful places like this with me, but God had a little different turn at this point in time with our life. And her brother, who does the other half of the year, is in Hawaii. So there was no way we could say, hey, will you, pick up one of her weeks or your week? And so anyway, I'm very sorry that she's not here with me. But other than that, I believe I'm in the finest county in the country right now. So, Community Heart and Soul, we had the presentation before. If you weren't able to be here, you might have seen it because it was videotaped, or you might have read some materials that Ms. Walker's been so good about sending out. And if not, you've got a little bit of that in your notebook or your folder there at the table. As Jenny already said, she will be coaching you through the phases. She has done this whole process in Thomason, Upton. And so she's got experience, local experience. She lives in your state, so she's not a carpetbagger like me. Today, we are going to do two activities, and these are part of the Community Heart and Soul from out of the mothership up in Vermont. Processes that they've been working with towns across the country for over 10 years and in a little over 100 towns. So we've been working with this for a while. So the first exercise we're going to do today is going to involve at your table, but the first things that we have to do, and we're going to do this individually before we get together in a group activity. So the four elements of readiness are: one, the community interest. Now, if you look in your binder, you're going to find a sheet that says Community Readiness Inventory. You have a section that has a bunch of Community Heart and Soul stuff. And when you get to that section and you flip through a couple pages, you will find this. The top says Community Heart and Soul, and then it says Community Readiness. Okay, if you found it, your neighbor has it. Oh, there you go. It's the last page. Now that I put you through all that. No, I'm sorry. It's the last page in that section.
Does everybody have one? Okay.
Okay, everybody with me?
Does everybody have the section?
Okay, everybody's got the folder, everybody's in the section, and everybody's on the page. fill this out, but don't start filling it out yet, please listen to me for just 2 minutes. So there are 4 sections because there are 4 elements of readiness for every town. Community interest, you see that it's kind of highlighted. The next section is community leadership. The next section is relationships and community culture. And the next section is resources. There are 16 questions. Then you'll see over on the right side of the page, there are columns. One is when you read that statement, you will check. You think that is a strength here? You think that is an opportunity here? You have mixed feelings about strength and opportunity, and unsure means I'm clueless, I don't really know the answer to this question. So you can always have an answer. You don't have to worry about why I didn't answer that because there's an answer there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down, we're going to ask each of you all to read the statement and check. That's a strength here, it's an opportunity here, I think that's mixed here, or unsure. And I'm going to give you 9 minutes to go down, read each statement, check a box. If you just really don't know what to do, then just go on the next statement and do that one. That is okay. Then we're going to get back together and do some small group stuff with it. So, 8.5 minutes now. Please fill out your individual. Okay, so you're quicker than a lot of groups. Looks like you didn't need the whole 9 minutes. Now, we're gonna do one other thing. And what I would like for you to do is to now look at your answers. And I would like you to circle out of the 16, circle the 3 statements or conditions on the inventory that you believe will have the greatest impact on success of Community Heart and Soul and Works. So whether that's an opportunity or whether that's a strength, look at the 16 and circle 3 that you believe, whether an opportunity or a strength, will have the biggest impact on Community Heart and Soul being successful here. Okay, everybody ready to move on to the next one? I need another thing. Okay. So here's what happens next. You've looked at all 16. You've given your thoughts and opinion for yourself on your page, which is in your book, so you're going to get to keep that. So you'll be able to come back even in a year and look and see what you were thinking today compared to a year from now, or as you're involved in different aspects from here forward, you will have this to reference back to. But at your table, now I try real hard not to make people mad. So I would like to have at least 3 people at a table. Have 4. Some tables have 4. Now, if there's anybody at the table 2 and you just don't want to do that, please just stay right where you are and you do it your way. All right. Super. I'm going to be talking about y'all all around the country, about how good y'all do. Okay, and a few people said they were going to leave early, so don't think if somebody gets up and leaves that they got mad at what you just said. Okay? Alright, now here's what we're going to do next, and let me tell you what's going to happen to this. I put a piece of paper on everybody's table now that says just, it says, conditions of greatest impact. What I would like you to do at your table, now when you fill this out, please get somebody to fill it out. volunteer at your table is willing to fill it out. Now, when this is filled out, because Community Heart and Soul, one of the main principles is they involve everyone. So we want everyone here, even if you don't move forward in a poor leadership team, we still want to hear from you. And this is the way we're going to hear from everybody here. So at your table, you're going to look at what you did individually. You're going to talk as a group. And you're going to come up with a readiness statement. And you can see it says questions there. What examples from the community influenced our selection? And how can Heart and Soul efforts benefit from? So those are when it says Q1, Q2. But most importantly is what you take as your individual three, and then you work together as a table. You come up with three. If you only come up with two, that's just fine. If you only come up with one, that's acceptable. But we want you these, and your coach Jenny and your main leader Stephanie will have these to work with as they move forward, having everybody's in. Do I have any questions? All right, then go.
Alright, does everybody understand what you're saying? Okay, the question is this: what examples from the community influence our selection of this statement as question one? Your readiness statement is group three statements that we all agree on.
I started, I was like,
That makes sense.
Right.
So our three top selections for this is what we need to figure out for you. I chose
just in the past, there's been,
number one,
there has been.
I chose number one as one of the principles, one of the things. I chose 8 and I chose 16.
Kind of a disassembly of leadership was leadership program.
I chose 3, 7.
And I think that will be something.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
What about you, Barbara?
Alright, Barbara, what did you choose?
3, 9.
That time was saying,
Will be 3 of them?
Yeah.
Probably 12.
So 2 of us chose 3. I think the biggest part about this is if there's no support of that's number 3, then there's no model to be neutral. So that's why I chose 3. And I think that's what made it smart.
I can agree with that. So, will everybody agree that the first one should be 3 municipal offices officially are supported in the community heart
They better be, because they voted unanimously to back it
You're
up.
saying that is correct. If we can get those 3 buildings established and work on it in the community, getting good leadership in place, training leadership to come from behind them and support them.
But we haven't gone any further and taken the vote.
Right. But she just needs it in writing.
Yeah, and that's important. All the community groups, civic leadership, government, everything. You know, we really do need to be on the same page to achieve the same goals, you know, not divided.
Alright, the second one that we all choose.
This needs to happen, and they're just like, no.
And 2 of y'all chose
It's got
9.
to be a shared vision.
Marvin chose 9, right?
Okay,
So you actively work like a civic organization. Activity for people to people don't know.
Well, when we're talking about civic organizations actively exist in the community, we're talking about these that we've already got Community Family Connections is one of them.
Civic Club.
Civic Club is another one. The Lions Club is another one. Like they're gonna start a new organization, or something along that line, like a club or something. Club or club,
But Nancy was, strengths and opportunities present, because we do have some strengths. People with good vision, it's just the opportunity to bring them together, so that's why I chose the mixed. Do you want her there? I'm not. Okay, so what 3-year-old? I think number 10 is definitely a good one for us to focus on, because we do need that cohesive vision in place.
And we have a culture, you know, every.
The third one.
Number 10.
So we don't have a consensus on the third one. We don't have,
Alright,
everybody
so
has different.
everybody had something different.
So one was human resources.
I chose 10 as a shared vision of the future based on what matters to most residents. We don't, and I put a mix on that.
I put a mix on that
I
one.
did all mixed.
Yeah.
How about you, Mark? You said 12? Together coordination.
I think financial resources is a big.
I think we need more of that.
I mean,
I use number, I picked number 9 and number 12, but I think probably 9 would be the stronger.
is a strong.
We got them there,
Yeah.
and they do.
Yeah, that was our second answer. We chose that.
Yeah.
Because without money.
Right. So let's look at the last one.
What 15 to 10 or 12, what did you put?
Oh, 15 and 16. I went with, both of them were the opportunity with the circle around here.
And Amanda had 8, 1, and 16. 8, 1, and 16. Yeah, you had 1, 8, 16.
The financial resources that are available now are big steps for the, in my opinion,
I'm sure that, they are available, but this being my first meeting, I'm not familiar with what is available.
well, we're not all.
I put human resources simply because you don't have to be committed to do the work. I don't know how much money.
Right.
Sure.
We know
So it
that
kind of goes both ways.
for a good fact.
That's her pay though.
We have all kind of word of mouth support. Or to get that split.
I mean, everybody's resources, and there is a
Okay, so does everybody agree that we should go with 15?
Yeah.
15?
Yeah, because leadership's
It's all right, y'all.
people
Sure.
that, that
Because
can.
she's right, if you don't have the people to do it, then you've got to.
They are available, but
Well, that's what I said, and there, our strength is in having people who else do things. We just have time.
But they have to do more They have to do more than. I feel like that's a practice change. And we haven't heard a lot of time. Yes, it comes down to everybody. It is a challenge, and I'm not saying it's their fault, but they need to put up.
Okay, so is everybody good?
you know what you're saying is they need to put up in or either shut up. Yeah, I'm totally agree with that.
So we'll put 15.
I think mine would be that we have to show leadership individuals and strengthen leadership versus the leaders. Because if you have a strong leadership,
On the other side of town,
if you have a strong leadership, you have somebody in that position, most of the time, the trust comes from
To Sean Holmes.
their work and transparency.
Beatty Road.
Okay.
122 Beatty.
Where you put your sign in the
Who owns
pole?
that property?
That's part,
She's got property?
No. No, I was just asking.
it could be, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last one will be.
No, she owns 5 acres
I
there.
mean, I really
That's
think,
part of
the
it,
finances.
where the house is.
Okay. Yeah, you know that community field, that field area. That's a good road. It's not big enough to put anything on it.
I'm new,
To run, I mean, to run like.
No, that's been in paid for
besides the.
12, 14 years.
I'm kind of.
But I couldn't get anybody to cut it last year if I give it to them.
Alright, we ready for the first question? What examples from the community influenced our selection of this statement? So on the first one, we said municipal officials are in support of using the community heart and soul model, and we all suggested that if municipal systems do not involve communities together, then it's not gonna happen. Correct?
And I know they're similar to size in our community.
If you wanna buy and put a new Dollar General on that corner,
Another one facing the other dollar.
Yeah,
$10.
yes.
Being a Walmart.
Well, Macon, and then they filmed the Walking Dead community is right. I had an employee that came from
Well, somebody needs to own a grocery store.
and she was one time telling me about things
Said a lot of
in their community and how equipment reminded them.
Which they don't have
Things
anymore.
like that.
You don't have lottery?
And so
They pull a lottery machine
that's
out.
how I believe that they were similar in size to us, and she's told me
I don't know if they even have
they
the
would
scratch
go
off.
and do
I know the
that
machine.
area, so.
So,
Somebody next to the IGA right
We're really kind of sick of
he's already sold one again.
because really, a lot of places
Well,
you
no,
have
the
to
new
pass
one.
through equipment to get to, so.
He's already sold one he had him over.
I didn't know he had an IGA.
He bought
He bought both of those?
the old one out on the function side of town.
Oh, okay.
He sold it while in jail.
Okay.
I'm,
Ever will see notice that.
I am.
It's true.
Always got it about that.
Exactly. Alright, do I need to change the sentence to yes or no? Municipals must become more communicative and supportive for this program together and in agreement, but also individuals for experience without backing out for
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Alright. Civic organizations actively exist in my community. We've already said that they are in
and, yeah,
the Lions Club, Quilt Club. I mean,
We're not gonna pay her. If we're talking, well, I
no,
guess
we're talking about
it's
what's
a-
happening. So, actively, we have groups regardless. So,
Where's our lines?
we don't have, they don't, there's not one in favor.
I mean,
Lions Club is equipment, but it's available to anybody in the county.
hey, you're lucky I remember. It's Friday and my brain is usually fried by then.
That's where
And there used to be rotaries and all the houses.
they had those two there in the library building. That used to be a booming building.
I'm gonna bring up some.
The other community club, is that? Do they still meet? Did they still?
I don't know, man. I can't figure that out.
Okay, we're gonna do the 30-second countdown, so whatever you're
Larry's
halfway
involved
through,
in
right.
it, but he ain't involved.
I'm gonna try to bring out housing. Right now, there's one area in that home for a house. I was trying to see if that changed.
Right.
Because they're so close.
Are you saying house? Okay.
If you wanted to build a house, you have to.
I agree with
Last
that.
question, human resources are available.
Okay, here we go. 5,
So human resources, we stated was, important.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's your.
Hands down. Hands down, eyes up here.
Go ahead and finish right.
Finish right this year, they're gonna collect.
Hands down and eyes up here. You know, every once in a while, I think I should have been a school teacher, and within 30 seconds, I think of 30 reasons why I should have been. But I do steal some stuff from teachers. One thing that I will tell you about me personally, my wife and I have 3 things in common. We got married on the same day.
It better be.
We both, for short periods of time, like to have the house all to ourselves with the spouse out of town somewhere. And number 3, we both remember the professor that gave us a B. That's because she was a straight A student and only had 1 B in her whole life. She does not like that professor. I only got 1 B as the highest grade I ever got. And I love that professor. So for y'all, if you need to be an A+ student or you never got an A+, you just did on your activity. And for y'all that were straight A students, I'm giving you a C today for work. Because you've done better work. All right, that being said, y'all had great discussion. Stephanie, would you mind collecting the group sheets? As I told you, we were going to collect the group sheets, and these are going to be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tools for Stephanie and Jenny to use as they take the next steps starting this afternoon. All right, now we're going to get into the fun activity, and you get to get up, and you get to walk around a little bit with this if you want to. If not, you can get your neighbor to help. We are going to do the next activity, which is called Who Lives, Works, and Plays in Our Community? So let me go clear back to where Jenny started. You know, we have our 3-man principle. It is involve everyone, focus on what matters most, and play the long game. So today, we are going to officially and formally start the involve everyone. Now, as you go through this process, you will complete what we call a community network analysis. Okay, so we all know what analysis is, and we all know what community is. So the network, let me take just a minute and talk about network. So network is those groups who talk, live, work, and deal with life around each other in their network. If we're going to involve everyone in Brooks County, we have to know what the networks are, and then you all will determine who are your connectors into those networks. Everybody following that? So this morning, when I was out for my morning walk, because Friday's my off day, I'm a runner, and I'm running 2 races. I got 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon back home tomorrow. I don't know how I got 2 on the same day, but I did. And so today I was just out walking, because Friday is my exercise hard day. And it was the cutest thing. The school bus pulled up in front of the house. And the mother came to, I kind of went around that way because I heard all these roosters crowing. And I'm from Forest Acres, which is right near Columbia, South Carolina, which is where the University of South Carolina is, and that's the Gamecock. So when you hear a rooster crow, you're like, go Cock. So, and that's fine, believe me, I got Clemson people in my state, so, you know, like Jenny said, I've been through all of it, like you do, Georgia, Alabama, but, you know, I got Clemson people back home, so I'm used to all of it. But anyway, so that's what made me go by. But the bus stops, and I hear the door open, and bless her heart, the mother is coming out with her child. Child's got the backpack, got her little lunch bucket, as my grandfather called it, and the mother was still tying her hair. Right up to the steps of the bus, she's still tying her hair. And I thought, that's just so cute. I don't see anybody in this room who looks like her. So that's a network that we've got to identify. Because we can't involve everyone if we're not involving everyone. But the only way we do that, and that's why Community Heart and Soul is not somebody like me coming in, doing 2 meetings about, you know, what do you need in your community, what's good about your community, putting it all up there, and then me go back somewhere and get on my computer, get my textbook, write up 4 bright ideas I think would be best for you to do here, me come back, put them up on the wall, have most of you go, yeah, that makes sense, and then I send you an 80-page booklet back, and it ends up on a shelf somewhere. That is how this is different. What we're doing, getting ready to do right at this moment, that we're just beginning, is what is the cornerstone of Community Heart and Soul. So, that being said, you all have sticky pads at your table, and we're going to be using them in just a minute. So, we are going to first off talk about broad categories. And I'll give you an example in a minute. We're going to do broad categories. And Sonia and Jenny are going to write these as headings on the flip chart. And then they're going to put it up on the wall.
FYI, we're not for profit, Concord EMC and Georgia EMC, so we don't have spell check on our markers. So let's just, I know we're in a building of education, so no need to correct unless it's killing you on the inside.
And so thank you. My educational background is social work, so part of me says to you, if it's spelled wrong, just let it go. But the other part of me says, if you see that we misspelled it, feel free to go up there and spell it right. That's okay with us. All right, so for example, a broad heading would be health. Right, that's broad heading. Because we have what? We have a health department, we have private practice folks, we have maybe a public health nurse that comes in from, you know, a tri-county area. We might have a nursing home, we have hospital. So see how health is a broad category. Then what we're going to have you do is write down on your sticky notes the specific entities under that. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to start. Well, let me tell you now before we do this. If you all tell me that a broad category and something that you have in your county is elected officials. Let's just say you have elected officials and that's a broad category. Because you have elected officials at all levels, right? So that would be the broad category. And then what you'd write on your sticky notes is who all you elect. Make sense? Okay. So, if one of the broad categories you give is elected officials, we are not wanting you to write on your sticky note, bunch of crooks and should all go to jail. That's not what we are not looking for your opinion. We are looking for the groupings, because no matter how you feel about them, when you get to the point of doing story gathering and story collecting, and you have a set of questions that you're going to ask everybody, you're going to have to ask maybe even some groups of people that you personally don't have a good opinion about. Okay? So we're not asking your opinion about what you think about anybody or any group in the broad category. We're just needing to know what are the entities that you're going to need to go and hear from. Okay, so now they're going to write as fast as they can, but I might need to slow you down, so if you don't think, if you holler something out, you remember, well, you jot it down so we don't miss it. All right, broad categories. Somebody go. Education.
I can feel that one.
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
Elected officials.
Elected officials. Small businesses.
Community development.
Okay, law enforcement.
What was the last one, I'm sorry?
Law enforcement was the last one. We have small businesses.
Agriculture.
First responders,
I'm sorry?
first responders.
First responders. Can we just do first responders instead of law enforcement separately?
Okay.
And then under first responders, be thinking law enforcement, and then be thinking about, law enforcement. When I pulled up, was it still out there? Was there a car out in front? An SUV that said police, and what kind of police did it say? Bruce County Education. So see how we're not going to get them all today, and you're going to have to keep working on these. But if it says something, po-po, that's a first responder, right? So we're going to always have to be thinking creatively. Like, for instance, I don't know about here, but if you're illegally hunting, there are police from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources who have a badge and a gun, and will come out and tell you shot too many deer. Well, that's law enforcement or first responders. Shooting out in the backwoods, they're going to be the first person. Okay, are y'all catching up?
We are.
Catching up.
Okay, other topics?
Spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness.
Spiritual wellness. Okay, now again, like under that category, when you get to doing your sticky notes, so we're going to have you bring up and put where they belong here. Don't just write churches. Put a name of a church, because, and if it's a group of people that do not believe in church, they're about atheists, but they meet. We need to go talk to them because they live here. We're involving everyone, and we got to take our set of questions to them as well. So, you know, we don't need broad categories. Ultimately, you know, we're going to need to know who are those faith communities, who are those spiritual wellness working groups, so that we can get them on. And again, today is just the initiation of what y'all be working on. And one day, I will come back to mine. Somebody's going to go, oh, that man's name with long white hair and was kind of crazy and always wore that bow tie and a suit even though it was dressed down Friday. He told us we were going to be doing this and keep going back to it, because even when when you are sure you have figured out every network in Brooks County, one of y'all is gonna be taking a shower and think, oh my goodness, we forgot such and such. And then you're gonna send out an email to the core group going, we need this added to the community network analysis. So this is something that we never quit until, well,
Historic. Historic.
historic.
Historic.
Civic groups. Okay.
Got good quality paint on these walls.
Better tape.
Oh, now that's funny. I love that. The gentleman from the community is complaining about the product. I heard Jenny over here mumbling something about the walls.
It's high quality paint, that's the problem.
And that's why we have to involve everyone, because there was the same thing, but we had two very different thoughts about that same thing. Okay, what we're gonna do is, last of all, we're gonna put one up that says other. And now what I want you to do is at your table, on your stickies, and you know, you might have to peel a few off to make one sticky pad into 3 sticky pads, so everybody can be writing, and there's a table beside you that may have an extra one. So everybody get some stickies, look at these broad categories, think about the networks, the subgroups in each of these, and write them down, and then come up and put them on whichever one of these is the right place for that sticky note to live. And you don't have to do this as a table, you can just write your ideas
You
down.
can do it either way.
Absolutely. You pick a category and I'll give you an example. Okay, community development. You've got, I think, 5 towns represented here. How many of those towns have somebody that a part of their position description is community development? None?
Family connection would be a good example. Okay. And, maybe even like, yeah.
Yeah, so development authority, if you're, so like Quitman doesn't even have anybody that does anything related to community development, not even the city manager? Okay, so like the city, development, the county, community development person, the EMC does community development work, the development authority, like anybody that part of their position title is doing community development.
Should we write only things that exist, or should we write things that should exist?
Just things that exist, because we're looking at the networks, we're gonna go gather stories.
Okay.
If they don't exist, you're not gonna be able to go ask them 6 questions.
The Brooks County Chamber is part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, chamber?
Why don't I make it community and economic development, and then that kind of, because those overlap, I just want to.
Okay, and again, we don't want to get bogged down here. If you're not sure, write whatever you want to write, and then put it on the other. Where's other? Others over there. If you're not sure, please just write it on a sticky, put it on the other, and we'll figure it out. Yes,
Is
sir.
it one for each category?
No, you just think of any grouping that comes to mind under any of these categories, and then you go stick it up there. You don't have to come up with one for everyone, you just think of the groups.
Yes.
Now, you can tell I'm easy to get along with. If you're not sure whether it's agriculture or small business, please just, whatever you wrote, stick it on one of the two, and you'll have months to figure out how to get it the right place. And at any point you're ready to walk around or bring a couple up, you can do that, go back, and you can always come back up.
And I'll be glad to pick some up if you raise it, I can get it, and if you don't, you write it. All work in a dance like that, I would say education. Okay.
I'll help you, come on.
Anybody's needing to run to the restroom right quick, if you walk out the store to the right, it's down into the Elton School. If the bathrooms are right to the left.
And then the rest of them will come.
Start writing.
Yeah, and that's what it's. I know which one I'm putting on there first.
No, sir, I worked in Thomasville. I'm these are these community arts, but I actually live in No, I love the short drive. I serve the third of Georgia. This will be a nice drive.
Yes, because there's been, Dr. Harding.
Still 15.
Have you met Mr. Reddy? He does L.
Yes, sir.
I did that, with, well, that's how I feel about going, in college, on more than one occasion, got pulled off. Well, they were more than like, get there, there's something going on, they run out. The offers only never got started.
Okay, folks, we're gonna give you 5 more minutes. If you come up with something later, you'll be able to bring it up here before you leave today. You'll still have an opportunity. And then in about 5 minutes, we're gonna take the official break for coffee, more refreshments, etc. About 5 minutes till I wrap up.
Oh, we're losing.
Don't forget this again, the historical, society or genealogy, whatever.
In school here, they have a
$3 for the first 10 miles, call 24 hours, call next ride. I don't have cards. $3 for the first 10 miles, they'll pick you up at your house, and take you where you need to go, and bring you back.
not my normal
Go over 10 miles, like you go
like that's me. I can like it's
50 cents a mile after the first 10 miles. So you really could ride it to Atlanta. There's a lot of them wanted to, but it costs you a lot of money. That's right. And they do go to other counties, like if you had a doctor's appointment in Thomas County, they'll cross county lines. So Berrien County, I saw Berrien After they pick you up, it's now starting so if it's 40 miles to Stone Creek, you pay $3 for 10, and you pay 50 cents for 30. That would be $15. So $18 for your house is over 40 miles. And I don't know the back. It might be 80, it might be 30 more.
Have you met my daughter, Marty?
I don't know if it's. You go, but you gotta come back. I will. And we'll clear this up. We got good email communication. So you just remember to knock on my door.
I'm standing in your.
No, you're fine.
Did I just vote on that's my first one to say what I put
Okay.
You ever need to
turn that down.
Just playing up there.
Phones down, pens down, and eyes are here. Eyes up here, please. Thank you very much. Okay, this is what's called a swan song. Does anybody know where that expression came from? Well, I don't either, but I'll Google that on my way home. I will share with you that now in my little running group back home, we no longer kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We decided to quit killing birds. And now we light 2 candles with 1 match. So we're coming up with new expressions. I don't think swan song is bad, but if it is, I'm sorry and I won't use that again. But this is my swan song. Y'all have been absolutely delightful. You have taken wonderful care of me. I've enjoyed eating Mexican in your town. I enjoyed eating Italian in your town. I enjoyed eating a big old burger from Wiregrass. I have eaten well here. I've slept well here. And I feel like at some points I've been loved on here. And that really just means the world to me. And so I thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to tell you the work that you did this morning is just like twice as good as what usually happens. And, you know, and I'm crediting you for that because everywhere I've been, it's been great work. But just looking at the number of stickies, looking at the fact that on the inventory sheet around your table, like that form is all filled in. So I'm just, you know, comparing those sort of data points. Y'all are going to do sensational stuff. Jenny is an experienced, double certified coach, a ball of energy, just a brilliant person, and I'm fortunate to get to keep working with her. You are fortunate to going to be working with her, and there's going to be so much great stuff come out of your town. It's your community, and she and I come in with a tried and proven model called Community Heart and Soul, and a network of people that will be at the same stage as you, a stage or 2 ahead of you, or totally finished for almost a decade. Totally finished. And Jenny, as your coach, will have access to that entire network. All the materials that come out of Community Heart and Soul, there are about 5 staff positions available to support Jenny in her work here. But please, please, please remember, I don't live here. None of those people live here. Jenny doesn't live here. You live here. It's your community. It's your investment in the Community Heart and Soul. We just bring you a model that what we say is if the process has fidelity, which means it lines up just along the model that's tried and proven, you will have success, but you all will have more success just because of what Stephanie started bringing together with these quarterly meetings, the number of people in this room, how engaged you are. So any town, even if they don't do too well about it, not too many people get engaged, Community Heart and Soul still works. But how well it works is about the people. And y'all are just wonderful, super involved and engaged people. So that said, I'm going to go back to the wonderful house that I got to stay in, change clothes, pack up, leave town, leave the state, and leave you in wonderful hands. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. When I hear it for Mr. Manning again, please. So it's about 10:30, and I'll give y'all about a 10-minute break. Does that sound good? And we'll come back. I'll make it 15. How about a quarter till? Just so we can get some refreshments, go to the restroom.